Welcome, everybody, to the debut episode of the Four Man Rush podcast. I'm your host, Noah.
I'm a participant, George Hennon.
I'm Jones.
And I'm JC.
So, today we are going to start off our debut episode with some news around the league. Tonight, the Lions claimed Dwight Freeney off waivers from the Seahawks. David Johnson and Carson Palmer were ruled out for the season. Paxton Lynch and Tyrod Taylor will start this weekend for their respective teams. And also, breaking news tonight, the Chiefs have signed Darrelle Revis to a 2-year contract. What do you guys think about this?
It's pretty lit.
Oh, you can go, sorry.
You go ahead.
You can tell we're from Canada. So I actually really like the move of signing Darrelle Revis. The Chiefs have been getting destroyed by wide receivers the entire year. They have that one good corner, Marcus Peters. But other than that, they really have a lot of, ever since Eric Berry went out, they've had a lot of hold on the defense and they've been getting destroyed. And that, along with Alex Smith not being able to carry the offense, I think this is a great signing. Kind of a low risk, high reward.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Anyone else?
Yeah, that's exactly it for me as well. The thing about it is, from last time we saw Revis, he wasn't looking very good. But for what they signed them, it was pretty much like a why not move. Like, you're trying to improve. The defense has kind of been slacking, and you just got to step up and might as well just make those moves, honestly, the big boy moves.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have no money guaranteed in the second year of the contracts.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
They have to decide
good
before the season next year to give him the $10 million. But this year he's on the veteran minimum, I think.
I think
I
the one thing I would say is that Revis has historically struggled in zone defenses, which is the scheme that the Chiefs typically play. So that'll be something to watch out for. But again, it's really a no-risk signing. They're in a bit of a rut, so signing him could motivate the rest of the team, could help the defense as a whole. So I think it's a smart move for the Chiefs.
So another topic around the league is whether the Vikings will stay with their hot hand at quarterback in Case Keenum or give Teddy Bridgewater the start. What do you guys think they should do?
Well, I'm pretty sure Mike Zimmer said Case Keenum has big balls today, so I would assume he's going to be the starter next week. He actually said that. So, I mean, there's no reason to move from him. They're winning with him. He's been all right. He threw a 65-yard touchdown, even though it was just a small pass to Thielen last week. He's been looking pretty good. Like, it's Case Keenum, you have to remember. But at the end of the day, why would you switch a quarterback who's winning? That's my same mindset with Fitzpatrick and Winston. If Fitzpatrick keeps winning, which Winston couldn't do, why would you switch him? Why would you switch? Especially if Winston, your franchise quarterback's not healthy. You might as well, and you're not going to win this year. That's my personal point of view.
Yeah, exactly. I believe that 100%. And plus, that Thielen connection has been looking mighty juicy lately. They've been connecting really nicely.
Thielen's a certified beauty.
Exactly, a certified beauty. But why move to a quarterback which you were unsure? Maybe I try maybe Teddy if they continue to play really well. Maybe try in week 17 just to throw him in there, see how he does. But I honestly, you go with the hot hand. Unless he starts struggling, you leave it how it is.
Do you think if they lose this week to the Lions, next week could be a change? Or this week, sorry, like the week after?
It could be in consideration, perhaps. It depends on how he plays, to be honest with you. Because
I think if they
wasn't
lose,
on him, no.
I think if they lose, no, it's not gonna be on their defense. Their defense is top 3 in the league. So it's gonna be on him if they lose.
Get the job done.
Murray's been pretty solid last week. Murray and McKinnon have been McKinnon have had a pretty good rush together.
Is pretty iffy. They're very inconsistent, and Dwight.
Lions defense is okay at best.
Maybe the Dwight signing will help.
I don't think the Vikings need a quarterback to really carry the load. They just need a guy who's going to be reliable, who's going to get the job done, who's going to move the ball on third down, and I think Keenum's been doing that for them. So I don't think you'll be seeing Teddy Two Gloves in the lineup anytime soon.
Yeah, maybe you don't need someone to carry the load, but maybe you need someone to bring you to the next level.
Yeah.
Come postseason time, maybe Bridgewater might be the better choice, even if he hasn't played a snap all year. I don't know.
In the playoffs, it's going to be hard to win with Case Keenum behind center, but I mean, Mike Zimmer's always been kind of a pretty conservative coach, so
I highly disagree. Just a few years ago, the Broncos won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the Broncos defense is a lot better than the Vikings defense.
I understand, but the Vikings defense is still like in a whole upper. It's in the upper
it's
tier.
a great defense, but it's not near the level. And also, like, there's a lot more factors than that, just than the quarterback. Like the other, like Cam Newton wasn't great in that game. I don't know.
I
Yeah,
understand,
not good.
but that's also got to keep in mind the fact that Case Keenum is much better than Peyton Manning was in that Super Bowl. So, like, their offense hasn't been a problem, hasn't been that big of a problem this year. Their guys have been stepping up, and that's all you really need to have a
Yeah, but
nice
the
run.
Broncos also had a better run game. I'm pretty sure they had a pretty solid run game back with CJ Anderson was a beast. Well, he's still pretty good, but like now they
Yeah.
have like a.
If the Vikings
a
still had
committee.
Dalvin Cook, also.
You're a little salty, eh?
Yeah, I'm salty. Fantasy
Uh,
team.
Yeah, I know. That's why your team's barely in the playoffs right now.
All right, so
Uh,
should we move on?
Yo, we've been 5 minutes in, and you're already throwing shots at him.
You know what? You know what? It's just a throwback to when I beat him in the finals a couple years back.
Hey,
A little throwback.
hey, let's not go back to that right now.
I think we should.
No. Okay, do you guys want to move on to the next topic?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so we are going to move on to our first topic, and that is the chopping block, which is, if you want to explain GH.
George? Call me George,
Yes.
please.
All right, George.
Basically, the chopping block is going to be like a bit that's more like a keep trade cut. Like people on the wire, people you drafted to be your studs, maybe they're not performing. What should you do with them? Is it time to cut them? You know, if it was before the trade on, is it time to trade them, or you can keep starting them with confidence? So the first player I want to throw out there is Dak Prescott. Ever since Dak Prescott lost Zeke and his left tackle Tyron Smith, he's been pretty garbage to say the least. Like it's been a very notable step down. Like if you're in a one QB league, because in two QB league you keep him, but in a one QB league where there's probably good option on the wire, like do you keep him? Like what do you do?
Yeah, and also he's been forcing the ball a lot to Des Bryant.
Yeah,
I've seen
Des
the
Bryant.
last few
Sorry about it.
weeks,
Even
and
though it was
Des
a
Bryant is
trade,
Yeah.
Des Bryant lost a step.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know. He did lose a step. That's why I traded him to you.
Exposed again.
It's not just the shots are being fired.
I think the thing that makes
Uh,
Dak good at his best is that he's not throwing interceptions.
He's been throwing some picks lately.
And he's getting enough touchdowns. But if you keep on seeing him trying to kind of carry a bigger responsibility and you see the picks rising, he goes from a guy who's a pretty reliable starter to a guy that loses a lot of that value.
Well, I think he was an elite QB1 before when Zeke and Tyron Smith were healthy. Now, like, Avamore is a mid-range QB2, like 15 to 20 rank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I perceive him. Well, I think he gets a big boost when Tyron Smith comes back. But I don't know. Alfred Morris, Darren McFadden didn't even play, but Alfred Morris and Rod Smith are not nearly as good as Zeke.
Yeah, I think it's time to kind of like try to look for other options if you have Dallas players in general. Whether it's from Dez to Dak, it's like
What do you
And
mean
they
other
don't play-
options?
it's not guys you should drop,
Uh,
but it's guys you should leave on your bench for now.
Oh,
How
you mean for fantasy? I know. I don't think you should drop Dak, but I think you think you should bench him.
100, yeah, exactly. Like you can't be dropping any. You can't be dropping Dak.
Okay. For my
But a guy
next
that you should be
player,
dropping is Chris Thompson, but that's pretty obvious.
yeah, Samaje Perine. Hope you got him on the wire this week, boys.
Oh, I drafted him for
I
potential.
picked him up a week before. Got
He's
feeling-
good. He's good. Just fumbles
Yeah,
The
he's
a
guy
bit.
he was
you
a
would
good-
pick up.
He
I would
broke
drop
someone's
him.
record for most rushing yards in college. I think it was Zeke's
He did.
record. I don't-
He did
Yeah.
break a record. He had like a 300-plus yard game.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a good
definitely not shown
talent. I
that
don't know.
enough as of late, but whatever.
Okay,
Oh my God.
The second player I want to talk about is Jordy Nelson. What do you do with Jordy? I mean, Brent Hundley's garbage. Well, yeah, he's pretty trash. And clearly the only receiver that I would trust, only player I trust in Green Bay is Devontae Adams. Other than that, I mean, Jordy Nelson has been like pretty crap lately. So, I mean, what do you do with him? Do you like bench him or is it time to just like let him go?
I'll tell
If
you what
you're a
I'm doing
team
with him.
that-
What do
Okay,
you
you
do
go ahead,
with him?
Noah.
I'm
Yeah.
benching him. Right now, I'm
Yeah, if he
benching
was on
him.
the wire, if he was on the wire, I would probably add him only because Aaron Rodgers is going to come back for playoffs.
And their
But
connection's
I mean,
crazy.
I mean, you gotta keep him on your bench for the next till week 15.
Yeah, honestly, if you're right
Also
now
assuming
not
they
in it,
make it to the second round.
if you're right
So,
now not in it, and assuming you probably spent a high draft pick on Jordy, it sucks, but like you're
Well,
gonna have to try to look past him if you are not in it at the moment. If you are like just out of it or like a game back, don't drop Jordy because there's a chance you're making the playoffs. And if Aaron Rodgers come back, you'll be looking at yourself and being like, why did I drop Jordy?
okay, for the third player I want to talk about, so I want to talk about CJ Anderson. CJ Anderson started off the season looking like an MVP candidate for fantasy football. And then Jamal Charles came alive. Well, not alive, but he's been playing better. And I'm pretty sure Devontae Booker out-touched him last week. So,
Like
I
bad.
don't know.
I would be pretty concerned with that, to be honest with you. Maybe it is even time to give up on him. He hasn't been looking that great lately.
I think maybe he's droppable.
Yeah.
I would probably drop him.
I mean, it's
Personally.
not too dissimilar from, I guess, kind of the Bengals situation at the start of the year where you have like three kind of capable running backs. And it's not that CJ Anderson's a bad player, but is he going to get
No,
enough?
he's a great player.
Is he going to get enough of a workload to really validate starting him? I mean, any given week he could have 10 yards and no TDs. So, are you willing to take that risk?
Yeah, it's a fair point, but like it depends on where you are in the standings, to be honest.
Okay, so let me just get back on Mixon. So, I mean, what do you do with Mixon? I mean, the guy's an extreme talent. Like, when I watched him play, he actually has, like, a little bit of Le'Veon Bell in him, but that offensive line is just so bad. And, like, that offense it's just sputtering out garbage after garbage other than A.J. Green and an occasional, like, Brandon LaFell and Tyler Croft touchdown. I don't know. What do you do with Mixon? Do you keep him, or is it time to cut ties with him?
AJ Green hasn't looked that good lately, but besides that, even
I mean,
even Nixon,
didn't Green just have a 7-yard touchdown?
He did.
he did, yeah. But other than that,
Green's fantasy production, okay, the 1 week he got kicked out, he had a point. But then after he came back with 22, and then versus Denver, he had 15. That's pretty good.
The guy's not playing too bad.
he hasn't been playing too shabby.
Nah, Green's a high in wire 2, low in wire 1, in my opinion. He's more of a name value. But you definitely start. You definitely
But
start.
anyways, Mixon has been very interesting. Honestly, I expected a lot more because for the past few years, any running back the Bengals put out there had pretty good success. For example, Jeremy Hill, Bernard.
Jeremy had that one good year. He was trash the next year.
Yeah, I know, but that's also when they were splitting time together.
That's true.
Yeah, but
So-
he's still getting most of the red zone carries.
Yeah, I think you got to keep Mixon because he is getting a lot of carries. I'm pretty sure he had 20 touches last week. He didn't really do much of them, but then again, he did play Denver. But I think you got to keep him on your bench if you got running back.
I'd
depth. I don't
also
know.
say probably Mixon's value is going to be a lot higher next year because I think Jeremy
Oh,
Hill is
yeah,
a free
sure.
agent at the end of the season, so
Oh,
there's going to be a
yeah,
lot more room in the
Mixon-
backfield.
It depends. No, Till's on the IR right now. It doesn't make a difference, but
Yeah,
I think if they improve their O line,
they got to draft a lineman.
If they improve their O line, if they had the O line from last year, I
With
think Mixon would
Whitworth,
be
right?
I think he'd be an RB1 because he's such a good talent.
Yeah, they really miss
But-
Andrew Whitworth.
And they lost two offensive linemen.
Him
One
and
to the
Zeitler.
Rams, one to the Browns. Whitworth and
Zeitler.
yeah.
Yeah, those are
Also,
huge.
no running back
guys.
can do anything against the Broncos aside from Melvin Gordon, but that's like.
Orleans Darkwa had like 120 versus
Oh yeah,
them.
Darkwa as well.
Yeah,
Darkwa also
Darkwa.
did
Honestly,
really
the
well
best
against-
part about Orleans Darkwa, he has like some next name. That's the coolest thing about him. It's a pretty sick name. Okay, I want to talk about two more players for this segment. So the first one I want to talk about is Doug Martin. What do you do with Dougie? Doug Martin, he's either been amazing in his career, like 1,200 rushing yards or 14 even, or he's been absolutely garbage.
hmm
And this
Yeah,
year, this year, the first game he played, he looked like he had the potential to be an RB1. But I mean, you just lost Winston to Fitzpatrick, and obviously you don't respect Fitzpatrick as much as you would Winston if you're a defense. So you might load up the box a little more. And I mean, it's not like Doug Martin's really producing. Like Charles Sims is healthy. Jaquiz Rogers is not really a big impact, but he's a man in the backfield. Peyton Barber actually had a few touches last week. Like, what do you do with Doug Martin?
Well, recently, Dirk Coder said that it's not Doug Martin's fault that they're
Yeah.
not getting, they're struggling in the run game. I don't know if
But like,
that
even
there's
if
much going on.
it's not his fault though, at the end of the day, with fantasy doesn't matter if it's not his fault or not. It just the production hasn't been there, and
I understand.
He's a name value.
I understand, but he's a guy you should be leaving on the bench for now until later. I believe his schedule is it's okay.
I think
Has some
it's
good
middle back.
matchups.
It's okay. I think they're all like middle, like 10, 15 matchups.
Yeah, like if you're like in a 10, 12 man league or higher, I don't really see yourself, like I don't see you dropping him. There's not too much left on the waiver wire, I'd assume, in most leagues that are 10 or higher. So like unless you have a guy like Booker perhaps or Perrin that you could have picked up this week.
It's Pirine, but yeah.
Ryan.
Brian, so my apologies.
It's
Unless you
okay.
had something like that you could pick up. I don't see you dropping Martin. And even it would be kind of iffy if you picked up Booker even. I think that
I'm not a big fan of Booker unless CJ Anderson gets injured.
yeah, exactly.
same.
And
I agree.
and also no other running back.
At best, you're getting an RBBC. So
Yeah.
at best, you're getting a committee.
I think
That's
you could
like-
argue Corey Clement. I mean, obviously he's in the timeshare, but the
But
Eagles.
he has 7 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
Corey Clement.
I don't know. I don't know how
That's tough, man.
sustainable it is,
Corey
but
Clement or Doug Martin. I think I would lean toward. That's tough. I think I would lean toward Doug Martin because I think
Aren't the
Ajayi's
majority
getting more
of
work.
are the majority of Clement's touchdowns receiving or rushing?
No, they're all red zone, rushing.
Oh, okay.
a few receiving.
He's been the red zone running back for Blunt last few weeks.
Ajayi's not getting red zone touches.
Yeah,
Which
Ajayi's
is
got to
stupid.
learn like the whole playbook, though.
Yeah,
He needs a
Ajayi
bit more
actually looks
time.
really good,
He
but
is talent.
and
I
when
would know
you
being a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, you keep starting Ajayi, in my opinion.
And I'm still cheesed at that trade, but let's not get into that.
No one keeps getting mucked on these deals, eh?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Um,
too. I would be patient about Doug Martin though. He's getting 19 like carries a game type of thing, and on top of that, if you're like planning on keeping Mixon, you should be keeping Martin because despite the fact that he like has like a very low average, Joe Mixon has a lower average and he's had more snaps and more carries.
Okay.
My apologies.
One guy you could definitely look at if available is Dion Lewis.
Yeah,
I
Dion
just
Lewis is
picked
a
him
good-
up last week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
unless
see
you're in PPR and he's just gone 100%.
I just picked
Yeah,
him
because
up.
he's got kick returning duties.
He was
too.
great.
I actually have an interesting. I have an interesting question. If you're a fantasy owner right now and you need a tight end, who do you take? Travis Kelce or Rob Gronkowski? Or Zach Ertz?
As of right now?
I think you got to put Zach Ertz in that conversation too.
Yeah, you do. Definitely. He's deserved it.
Yeah. So who would you take as the first tight end right now for the rest of the season?
I know you're trying to flex your team right now, but Travis Kelce.
No. I'm actually curious. I want to know. I'm actually
Okay,
curious.
if I was a team and I had to choose like which player I'd rather
Not
have,
franchise, fantasy.
even both, I'd probably pick Kelsey. Gronkowski, if injuries did not exist, I'd pick Gronkowski, but I would not feel confident. I'm like, you can't feel confident.
Patriots have
week in
too
and
many
week out.
weapons.
What?
The Patriots just have too many weapons, and obviously,
Brady as the quarterback.
obviously Gronk's an amazing talent, but when you have Dion Lewis, James White, Brandon Cooks,
Even Rex Burkhead. Even Rex
Amendola,
Burkhead's been
Chris
good.
Hogan,
there are a lot of mouths to feed. So
and Martellus Bennett now.
yeah.
Yeah. And Dwayne Allen's made a few appearances lately.
Yeah. Does he even have a catch yet?
Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
touchdown.
Oh,
They've
okay,
been
okay.
playing
I
a lot-
remember
they've been
like
playing
through
a
like
lot of-
9 weeks he had nothing.
They've been playing a lot of
Yeah.
three tight end sets lately.
Yeah. He's mostly a blocker
Okay.
though.
All right. Last player for keep trade block, Jordan Reed. What do you do with him? The guy doesn't play. When he plays, he's amazing, but he just doesn't play.
I really hope you picked up Zach Ertz or someone really good as your backup. But yeah,
Pick Zach Ertz as your backup.
no, I mean like at the beginning of the season when you drafted.
Yeah, I guess. But like, what do you do with Reed now? If you just like the best end on the wire is probably like, I don't know, who's a middle end like Austin Safarian Jenkins, like a middle end tight end.
Like the thing is, you drafted Reed knowing he was gonna have some injury problems. So like, unless you like,
But like,
become a
what do you do with him now? Do you keep him on your roster, or just like, you know what, I can't do with you anymore? Like, you don't play. I need that roster spot.
I
if
mean,
you're
OJ Howard could be someone that you'd look to add.
So
even Tyler
we're on the
Croft.
consensus. Tyler Croft, I actually like too. So we're on the consensus that you drop Jordan Reed. He's already ruled out this week.
If you
It's a
if
tough
you have
one, but I probably would, honestly.
Who would you rather have rest of the season? CJ Fedorowicz? Actually, no, because Watson, not
Watson.
interested. Who would you
Charles
rather
Clay.
have? Julius Thomas, Kobe Fleener,
Charles Clay.
or Reed?
Charles Clay.
Charles Clay? Charles Clay, yeah, he's available in a bunch of leagues. But
Probably a Fleener, honestly, just because of Drew Brees.
I don't know how much I like Charles Clay
Yeah,
this
I'm
season.
not a big fan of any Saints player that's not a running back.
Yeah, they have pretty good running backs.
Yeah, you can't really trust Jay Cutler and Matt Moore in Miami with Thomas.
That's true.
Thomas is the most inconsistent fantasy player. He put up like 16 2 weeks ago, and the rest of the year he was like 2.5. Like
Yeah,
every
no,
game.
the most inconsistent fantasy player is Deshaun Jackson, but yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give up on Jordan Reed though. Not yet. The guy
I mean-
just last week put up 16 points in a standard league and 26 points in a PPR league. Sorry,
Jordan
no,
Reed?
other way around. Sorry, he put up 18 points in a regular standard league and 26 in a PPR.
who?
Fair.
Jordan Reed.
Yeah, I know when we were drafting, I completely took him off my board because I know that there would be injury problems.
So,
Yeah,
like,
I know. He's
playing
so
yourself
good
here.
when he plays. Like when he plays, he's in that tight end one tier. Like when he's fully healthy.
Oh, he's amazing.
Like he's
First
such a
couple
good
of
talent, but I just can't with him. I don't plan on ever drafting Jordan Reed.
Yeah,
Any
me too.
fantasy. I can't deal with his injuries.
So you guys want to move on to the next topic?
Sure.
All right, so we're going to be talking about some sleepers that are at least 35% owned or less in most fantasy leagues. So, does anyone want to start and give theirs?
Jones, you go first.
I could go if
I'll
you
go
want.
second.
I'll
second.
go.
Yeah, you go first.
I'll go.
Okay, you go.
Okay, so my deep sleeper for this week is Paxton Lynch, quarterback Denver Broncos. So I
Okay.
believe Lynch will offer the Broncos offense more playmaking ability than the likes of Simeon and Brock Osweiler. He has the ability to extend play with his athleticism, and he's going to be interesting this week as the Broncos really have nothing to lose by playing him. The season has been very poor for the Broncos, and they haven't been a dominant team since their Super Bowl winning year in which they had Peyton Manning under center, even though he wasn't really Peyton Manning that year, the Peyton Manning that we know.
Well,
So-
Simeon had a couple good weeks beginning of the year, actually.
Yeah, he did. And but Brock Osweiler is Brock Osweiler, so
Oh,
Why not-
Osweiler's terrible.
yeah.
He's
Why not
so
give your
bad.
first round pick a shot? So
I know. I actually don't mind your pick because they have a great matchup this week. They got
Yeah.
the worst, probably one of the worst defenses in the league.
yeah.
And he's got weapons around him. He's got Thomas and Sanders. But
So this
I don't
is why I like him this
if you're-
week.
I think you don't start him if you're in a 1 QB league, but if you're in a 2
Yeah.
QB league and you need a second quarterback,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think he's an
for sure.
intriguing option.
So
Something interesting to look at is that the Broncos just fired their offensive coordinator, Mike McCoy,
Yeah.
who apparently wasn't the biggest fan of Lynch, and they replaced him with their QB coach, Bill Musgrave. And so far, he said that his main objective is to get Broncos QBs to be more efficient and complete more passes. So if they put Lynch in a scheme where he can succeed and where he's given more like easy passes, more checkdowns as he starts up, he could have a few good weeks.
So another thing that I found notable as well is, as we mentioned, Lynch is facing the Oakland Raiders this week. The Raiders are ranked 21st in defense in the NFL as of right now, according to Pro Football Reference. And their defensive coordinator was actually fired, Ken Norton, the other day, as the Raiders have yet to tally an interception as a team through 11 weeks, which is an NFL record, which is absolutely crazy. And the
I think there's a
Raiders...
pretty good chance they get the first one this week.
Yeah, it's very possible, but it's unbelievable how they haven't had one through 11 weeks.
Because their cornerbacks they're terrible. Like Emerson's absolute trash.
Sean Smith is washed.
Sean Smith is a disgrace. Ever since he left KC, he's been a disgrace. and they have Gary and Conley. But Gary and Conley doesn't
Isn't
play this
Conley
year.
injured? He's injured.
Yeah, he's on the IL, but he was a first-round rookie cornerback who had like rape charges, but they got dropped.
Yeah,
He's a good talent. He's a great player. He would have been like a top 15 pick, but he had the rape charges,
for sure, for
so he
sure.
dropped.
And the
Yeah.
Raiders are also dead last in the NFL in takeaways and have given up the third most yards per play.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm
why I
gonna
like
give-
Paxton Lynch this week as my
So
sleeper.
yeah, I actually like your pick. So for our deep sleepers in general, we're gonna choose players who are under 35% owned. So they're hopefully going to be available in your league. Someone who you need like a wire three or a QB2 or like your tight ends on buy. So you need someone or like an RB2 flex, someone you can add and you can plug in. So for my pick, I'm choosing Marquise Goodwin. And you're probably wondering why Marquise Goodwin. He's playing the Seattle Seahawks this week. Well, the Seahawks don't have Chancellor.
Or
I
Richard
don't
Sherman.
think Richard Sherman's done for the year.
Yeah.
Shaquille Griffin's in the
Griffith, or
concussion
Griffin.
protocol.
Yeah.
I actually like Shaquille Griffin. He's gonna be a stud, but he's in the concussion protocol. I think Earl Thomas is still injured. I don't know if he's back yet, but I know he was injured.
I know they
They
picked up
literally
Byron
have-
Maxwell too.
Yeah.
Byron Maxwell's
Mr.
another special.
Stonehands.
They literally have 0 people in their secondary. Marquise Goodwin's a deep threat. Last time he played versus the Giants, I think he destroyed Janoris Jenkins on a deep bomb. I only had 1 catch that game, but it was an 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that's when he
And
did that celebration when his child
Yeah,
passed
because
away.
his child was So I don't know. He's motivated. He has a good matchup. Beathard and him clearly have a connection. He's the only option in the offense.
Even if Goodwin makes 1 catch a game, it could go for like 70, 80 yards because the guy's just such a deep threat. I mean, he tried to make the Olympics. He was a 2-time NCAA champ in long jump. The
I didn't
guy,
know this stuff. Kind of impressive.
even if the guy makes 1 catch, it could go for a while. So you don't need the targets there. You just are hoping for 1 big play.
Yeah, I see him playing a less volume.
Is he on
Tyreek
punt
Hill type
returns
role.
also?
I think he might be, which is
It's
always
very
nice if your
possible.
league
He's
counts.
so fast.
He's not.
He's not?
He's
Okay.
not. No, but they should consider it.
Yeah.
But like my only thing about him is like I'd be kind of a bit like I feel like he's one of those players that you'd be frustrated to have on your team. Like
He's a
Deshaun
boomer
Jackson
bust
type
player.
guy.
But like, if you have a wire three that you need someone this
Yeah.
week, and you just want to take a flyer, like you just need someone to put up points, I think Goodwin's a good risk.
It's like Deshaun Jackson. Some weeks you'll be getting very nice points out of him, and some weeks you're
It's
just
like
not getting
Deshaun
it.
Jackson with no Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And a worse talent. He's not
Yeah,
even as
a
good as
worse
Deshaun
talent.
Jackson is. I'd rather have Jackson, but he's like a Ted Ginn type player.
Agreed.
Yeah,
And
Ted Ginn is capable of some big games.
I'm not sure if there's anything to this, but there also is a chance he gets a few end arounds, a few rushing chances. So if that happens, he's
Very
definitely valuable.
Very true.
All right, Jones, who's your sleeper?
JC, got anything for us?
Jones, you go
I think-
first. Let him
I think
have some
Jones-
time to look.
Jones should go first.
I have a sleeper, and then I also have someone like a very deep sleeper, someone that if you're gonna look to, actually I would pick him up now, but it's
Good
very
job.
opinionated.
Good
My first one
decision.
would be Day Westbrook. The man's, I personally believe he's going to be playing really well. I know, like he just the offense is like the Jaguars' offense is looking for an identity right now. They're looking for a receiver to kind of bring them up to that next level. Their defense has been absolutely amazing, top team in the league.
Saxonville.
Yeah,
That
honestly,
defense is the best defense I've ever seen. Other
Yeah.
than Denver.
this team, Westbrook, looked great in college. Why not just take a chance on him, honestly? Only 27% owned in
Yeah.
Yahoo.
It is
Yeah,
notable though. He
I
was
picked up Didi a couple weeks ago. You know
Yeah.
what I actually like about Didi this week? I'm not starting him in my league. What I like about Didi this week is you have to look at his matchup.
Yes,
So
and his
you're gonna have
matchup going
Marquise
in
Lee.
is also nice.
You're gonna have Marquise Lee play against Patrick Peterson. In any league, you do not start Marquise Lee. You
Yeah.
just don't start anyone who's playing against Pearson
P.
unless he's a top end receiver. Can anyone name me the second cornerback on Arizona?
Is it still Justin Bethel or something?
Yeah,
No.
it's Bethel, and he's complete garbage.
He is
I think
horrible.
they also have a second cornerback. So, I mean, they're giving up they're maybe like the worst second cornerback in the league. So he does have outside this week. I say, even if you don't want to start him this week, I say you try stashing him.
Yeah. And Cardinals have been giving up the sixth most points to fantasy receivers.
And that's purely from that second cornerback spot.
The Colts,
Patrick Pearson
who are playing,
has been unreal.
the Colts who have been playing who they're playing next week, have given up the ninth most. And then they're playing the Seahawks, who are pretty good. Then in week 15, they're playing Houston, who give up the fourth most points to receivers.
Yeah.
And they're playing San Fran, which is like San Fran. They're like in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, and the Colts defensive backs are just horrible. They just released
Yeah,
Vontae
also-
Davis, and
that goes
Malik
without saying,
Hooker's
if
out for the year.
If Marquise Lee's available in your league, you put him over DD because Marquise Lee's like he's guaranteed the snaps, he's guaranteed the targets. Also, Alan Hearns might come back, but you pick Lee up first if he's available.
He's 71% owned, so in Yahoo Fantasy League. So I don't
No,
know.
I know. I'm just saying if both are available, you take Marquise.
Yeah. Also, my deep sleeper is what I want to really emphasize in this one. It's
Deep
a guy that
sleeper.
went off last week. I mean, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this opinion, but Ricky Seals Jones.
Who?
Yeah, who? Like, what? So it's the Arizona Cardinals tight end.
Wait, is he the first string or the second string?
Jermaine
see
Gresham.
next week.
Yeah, he's second
See
string.
next
Okay.
week. But it was an undrafted rookie
Okay.
from Texas A&M.
Not much of a pedigree.
Not much of a pedigree.
No, so
He made his
Cody
first
Clement was
catch.
also undrafted.
Yeah, but
Yeah, undrafted
here,
means
let me
nothing.
get into it. The guy, there's a new quarterback in town.
What's his name?
Who?
Who's the quarterback?
It's 1 second.
Blaine Gabbert. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Playing.
there. But anyways, so new quarterback in town. He seemed like he found one of his favorite targets, other than Fitzgerald, who also had put it together a really nice week last week.
Yeah,
In the red
Fitzgerald just start
zone,
every
he
week.
looked like he was the guy he wanted to hit every time in that red zone. And honestly, if you have a spot open, I would just pick him up this week. And if he does have a good week next week, which he's playing against Jacksonville, that'll be a very big challenge, and you'll see whether he's actually legitimate or not.
Okay, but
The thing is, if he has a good week this week, you're not getting him next week. You're not.
willing to take a 0-point game to pick up Ricky Seals Jones. I mean,
And leave him on your bench.
we're talking about a guy like he played like 7 snaps last week. I mean, just because he has one good week does not mean he's automatically going to become a primary player in that offense.
I understand, but if he does become primary part of that offense, in week 15 and week 16, big playoff weeks, and hopefully going to make it that far by listening to our advice. of
Okay,
course.
so my
He's
question.
playing against Washington, who gives up the 4th most points to tight ends, and
Can
then
I
they're
ask you
playing
a
the
question?
Giants, who give up the most points to tight ends.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather pick up Seals Jones or running back, like a running back, like a handcuff?
Well, depends. Like if you have Eckler, maybe
Okay,
you could
Austin
look at
Eckler you add over Seals Jones. It's no question.
Yeah, he's 34% owned.
Let me find some running backs, and I'm gonna ask you, Derrick Henry or Seals Jones.
Ricky. But I think you have
Over
to
Derrick
please keep in
Henry, I
mind.
disagree.
Please keep in mind that it's very dependent on everyone's situations. Tight ends are typically very
It's not a
desired.
deep position.
It's not deep position at all. So if you can get a guy who's gonna put up like 10 points a week, at least.
Yeah,
You
there's
could
really
look
only
at a guy
3
like Rick.
consistent ones this year: Gronk, Kelsey, and Ertz.
Yeah. Oh, and Ingram. Don't forget about Evan Ingram.
Yeah, he's been good, but he had a few like really low scoring games.
Yeah, he's a rookie, but
He's
considering
solid
you
though.
got him off the wire, you probably picked him up off the wire. Great value for a tight end.
He's solid.
So you'd rather have Seals Jones than Derrick Henry.
And also keep in mind, these are the tight ends that have put up over 20 fantasy points in a game versus Houston in the past 5 seasons.
That's
Gronkowski, who put up
fair.
24.7 points in 2013 of Week 13.
I
And he also
remember
put
Kelsey
it.
did.
Hmm?
Kelsey did.
This
I remember
Yeah,
he had
Kelsey
one
did
game
in
where he went off.
2015
Yeah, he had like 28 points week
in
one.
Week 1, 28.6. Who
I
Julius
remember
Thomas
that.
put up in Week 6 of 2015, 20 points against them. Gronkowski also put in Week 3 this week, 22.9. And then there's Ricky, who put up 20.4.
Jones, how many tight ends do you think put up 20 points? I mean, it's not a high scoring position.
Yes, but by pure coincidence, when you put yourself in a name like if you have anything to do with the name Gronkowski, Kelsey, and Julius Thomas, you're
Julius
already
Thomas.
like gold.
I think that's a slippery slope.
What is this? Julius
I don't know.
Thomas and Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
Wasn't he with Jacksonville in 2015?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
he was. That was his first year in Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I want to ask you some more. I want to ask you some more running backs.
I think I have a pretty interesting sleeper.
Go ahead.
All right. This is going to be pretty controversial, but
Okay.
I think Joe Flacco might be worth an ad this week.
He might be, actually. I actually don't mind that. He's a good matchup.
I think it's kind of questionable considering you probably have Tyrod Taylor in your waiver wire.
I mean,
No, but if you're in a 2 QB league and you're probably gonna have to bid like $38 for Tyrod Taylor. So
it's the worst idea.
You could probably pick up Flacco for $1 or $2.
I know he's been awful this year. I know he really has not had even one half decent game, but I mean, the guy, we know he has some potential left in him, and if he's ever going to do something this year, this is the week.
I mean, he is
I agree.
elite, so
He's an elite
he's elite.
The only thing is that I would kind of look at it is would you rather have Jacob Brissett or Joe Flacco?
Jacoby. Who's Jacoby playing this week? Who are the Colts playing this week?
The Colts are playing Tennessee.
I'd rather have Brissett.
Me too. I would also.
It's Brissett's is almost as owned as
There's still
Flacco.
a chance that Brissett's owned in your league.
Okay, how about this? Would you rather have Ryan Fitzpatrick or Joe Flacco?
Fitzpatrick.
I'm not trying to debunk your argument. I'm just trying to throw out other names.
I'd probably have Fitzpatrick too, just because of his targets. Also, he has weapons.
Because when you have Mike Evans, Deshaun, I'd rather have if you're in a 2 QB league with maybe even a league with a super flex, that's a quarterback flex too. You might want to look into it. He has a good matchup on paper. He showed pretty good chemistry. He had that one beautiful throw to Mike Wallace last week. Listen, I don't like Joe Flacco at all. I actually dropped in my league for Paxton Lynch because we're in a 2 QB league. I think if you need a QB2, just like an upside, not even upside, just like someone who can get you 15 points this week, I would consider. They also just got Danny Woodhead back. I think that's going to electrify the offense just a little bit. Flacco is a crap quarterback with a good week.
Yeah. And then also one more quarterback name I want to throw out there as well, CJ Beathard. The 49ers can't be giving away his job. He's been playing too well to be doing that, and they're playing him this week.
Yeah, what do you guys think about him and Garoppolo?
I think you stick with the hot hand. The man's been
So just like the Vikings
Nah,
situation.
man's not hot. What are you talking about?
in fantasy, 17 points and then 25 points, and they won their first game last week.
Man's not hot's a song, but
I know, I understand, but I thought you were referring to it in the context.
All right. I want to ask you guys actually a question. What do you guys think about Josh Gordon? How his impact will be on the Browns?
it's a good one.
Yeah.
He's gonna be good.
If he's on the field at any point,
He will be. He should be.
If he's gonna get on the field next week,
Yeah,
you don't
against
start
the
him.
Chargers.
Unless you absolutely need to. I don't think you should start him. Just that 1 week, see what he does.
I mean, the talent level is off the charts.
Yeah, he's a ridiculous talent.
Also, I just want to throw it out there. If mathematically speaking, the Browns aren't eliminated from playoff contention
Oh,
just
I
yet.
saw that I saw that
Yeah,
yesterday.
that was
Okay, and for our last segment, we're just going to go through each of the games of this upcoming weekend, starting with Thursday night, starting with the Thursday Thanksgiving games, and we're going to decide who's going to win. We're going to predict who's going to win and who's going to be the top performer in the game that's a non-QB. So each game is going to have one player who we predict is going to be the number one scorer on that game. So
And keep in
Jones, do you
mind
want to start off?
we're on Eastern time, 12:27 a.m. right now before
Yep. So
the Thursday.
yeah, before the Thanksgiving fiesta.
Well,
Okay,
technically
so
it's
the
Thursday now, so yeah.
So the first game of the week is Minnesota versus Detroit at classic Thanksgiving Day. Who do you think is going to pull off the W?
I gotta go with my Lions in this one. You know, it's a Thanksgiving Day. It'd be.
Okay.
I think they have the upper hand on this one. But
All right,
despite them being very hot, the top performer in my opinion will be Adam Thielen. The connection's been unreal. Yeah, sure, he's on the Vikings and they're gonna take the L, but I think still he's gonna put up the most fantasy points that's for a non-quarterback.
Okay.
I'm also going to go with the Lions, but I am going to do a different performer. I think that Marvin Jones Jr. is going to be the top
Bias.
performer.
Just a little bias.
Not just because he's on my fantasy team, but in the last few weeks, him and Matt Stafford have really regained their chemistry from last season.
But don't you think one-on-one coverage with Xavier Rhodes might be a problem?
It could be a problem, but I think that I'm going bold here. I'm thinking Marvin Jones is going to have a great game this week.
Okay. All right, fair. And JC?
I'm going to pick the Vikings to win the game, and I'm going to go with Adam Thielen as well for the top performer.
All right, I'm going to go with the Vikings as well, but I'm going to go with Golden Tate being the number one player. I think Tate in the slot can avoid a lot of those tough cover corners and safeties that Minnesota has. I don't know. He always just plays well against Minnesota. Okay, for the second game, we're gonna go with the LA Chargers or the Dallas Cowboys.
I gotta go with the Chargers on this one. Melvin Gordon, I think, is gonna go off, have a great game. I would consider Keenan Allen as well, but I don't know. I feel like Melvin's gonna have a bit of the upper hand in this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go a different team winning, but also the same performer, Melvin Gordon. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to pull this one out after their huge blowout loss to the Philadelphia Eagles last week. I think they'll be pretty mad, so they might go off and have a great game against the Chargers.
Third game of Thanksgiving, sorry. Giants, Washington Redskins. Who's taking home the W? Who's the number one player?
I think
you go.
You go first.
No, go ahead. You're ready. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Such Canadian kids, eh?
I think the Redskins will take the W on this one. I don't think there's much of a debate on this one, but I would say Kirk Cousins is the best performer, but I can't pick a quarterback. In this game, I would probably have to go with Orleans Darkwa. I think he's going to have a nice game.
Orleans Darkwa.
So
Okay.
I think the Redskins are going to win, but I'm going to go with Samaje Perine as the top performer.
Good pick.
I think he's going to show everyone
It's us.
how good he could be.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Redskins, and I'm going to echo Noah by picking Samaje Perine as my top performer for the week.
All right, I'm going Redskins as well. I think if Sterling Shepard suits up, I'm going Sterling Shepard in a PPR. If he doesn't, I'm going with Samaje as well. Okay, for Sunday night games, so the first game is Tampa versus Atlanta.
I think Tampa pulls the upset. They've been playing really well lately, and I think that I think Mike Evans is gonna have a killer game this one.
Mike Evans, okay.
Interesting.
I'm gonna go with the
tough
Falcons.
matchup. But
Yeah, you go ahead and keep going.
yeah, despite the tough matchup, they've given up the sixth fewest fantasy points to receivers, but Mike Evans has a tendency to surprise everyone, and he knows he's been underperforming, so hopefully he steps up.
I'm gonna go with the Falcons, and I'm gonna go with Austin Hooper as the top performer this week.
Austin Hooper.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Austin Hooper. I have a good feeling about him.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm going to pick Julio Jones to finally have a breakout week this weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with JC on this one. Tampa has terrible secondary, like one of the worst in the league, if not like the worst. And so I can see Julio going off. I think Atlanta would be 8-2 right now if they featured Julio, but I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right, for the game of the week, the Browns versus the Bengals. All right, who's the number one player? I think it's kind of a pretty obvious who's the number one player in this matchup, but
Yeah, I don't really like to admit it. I'm not a big fan of this guy. I think the Bengals will win this one. Actually, I think the Browns are going to pull up an upset. Bold prediction.
stop.
I think I'm in.
Comment.
Hey, you know what? I respect that. The Bengals are pretty crap.
Yeah, I think the Bengals aren't like. I feel like I don't know. I don't think AJ Green's gonna have the greatest week. No reason in particular. Just right off the gut. Just it's no reason to back it, to be honest with you.
Wait,
Yeah, he's the most talented player.
But the player who I do think is gonna have the best week, honestly, it's probably gonna have to be. Actually, come back to me on this one.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go bold as well and pick the Browns. Why not? But I know we addressed this guy earlier in the show. I think hopefully Joe Mixon goes off for his first incredible game of the season.
You know the Browns have been the number one defense in rushing
I know.
yards allowed.
I know,
Rushing
but
yards per carry,
he's
sorry.
also a big weapon in the passing game as well. So maybe he
Yeah.
could
He's
do
made a
something
bunch
on
of
both
bold
ends.
predictions.
I'm not starting him in our league. I can't.
He's made a bunch of bold predictions. You can't there's no you can't stop
fair.
him.
I think my player's pretty bold too.
Yeah, for that game, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm going to pick AJ Green as the player of the week. I mean, you can go with other guys for the upside, but I don't think there's a single more reliable pick on either of these teams than AJ.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals as well, but I'm actually gonna go with Duke Johnson as my number one player in this matchup. I think the Bengals are gonna go up quickly. Isaiah Crowell is gonna be a non-factor like usual, and I'm actually happy because my opponent is starting Isaiah Crowell for some stupid reason. But I think this is gonna be Duke Johnson's type of game. Bengals are on a great defense. I can see Duke Johnson mucking all those linebackers.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. Definitely not
Personally-
because I'm a University of Miami fan.
And okay.
Definitely not.
Oh, another
Personally,
game.
I
Oh,
think
you
that
haven't-
Corey Coleman's gonna have the game of that game, like the best
Coleman.
game there. I think this
Coleman's
is
interesting. I didn't think about Coleman. That's a good pick.
Yeah, I thought about him
go
also.
off because next week there's a chance Josh Gordon comes back. He's literally
Josh Gordon will be my guy next week. Mark my words.
So Corey Coleman, if he needs a good week, it has to be this week.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Another game of the week contender: Tennessee versus Indianapolis.
Mm.
Oh jeez. Okay. So I think Tennessee. Actually, I think the Colts are gonna win this one. T.Y.
Okay.
Hilton is no longer.
He's been better.
Yeah, I think T.Y. Hilton will actually no. Jack Doyle is gonna be my player of the week.
Yeah, he's been really good recently since he had a concussion.
Jack Doyle's good. Yeah, Jack Doyle's interesting.
So I'm going to go with the Titans, but my player is going to be Rashard Matthews. I know he went for a crazy game last week, and he's becoming Marcus Mariota's most reliable target, so I'm going to go with Rashard Matthews.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Titans. I think Mariota is going to turn it around this week. And I'm going to pick Rashard Matthews as well. I know Jones was telling me a few weeks ago about how Matthews always seems to have a big finish at the end of the year. And I think he'll carry that through to this weekend.
Yeah, he's so underrated.
Frustrated them.
Yeah, he's pretty underrated, but they have a lot of receivers on that team. Like
Dolphins
I
Corey
think
miss
Corey
him.
Davis is the one there.
I think I'd rather start Corey Davis than Rashard Matthews, but
Agreed.
I'm gonna choose the Titans as well, and I hate my pick, but I'm gonna say DeMarco Murray.
Ooh,
I hate DeMarco
I hate
Murray,
it
but
too.
this week has DeMarco Murray written all over it. And if DeMarco Murray gets injured, Derrick Henry will be the number one scorer, top 10 in the league this week.
Mhm.
All right, KC at Buffalo. This is actually quite an interesting game, but I think KC is gonna win this game.
me too.
Me three.
for my number one performer of the week, I'm gonna go with Kareem Hunt. I think this is the week Kareem Hunt gets back on target. The Bills have just been getting annihilated every week, and I think this is the week that Kareem Hunt goes back to that top 5 RB running back. That's my pick.
Personally, I agree with KC. Kareem Hunt will have a good game, but I think Travis Kelce will be going off this week. I don't know why.
I have both, so it's okay.
I think this will be Travis Kelce's week. He's just been a monster overall. We talked about it earlier. Just top tight end.
Yeah, I've got the Chiefs too, and I'm going to go with LaShawn McCoy being the top performer of the week for Buffalo.
Okay.
I'm also going to go with the Chiefs, and I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to have to go with Kareem Hunt. I was debating between him and McCoy, but I think Hunt has to get back on track at some point, and I think this is a great opportunity for him to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Miami, New England. Well, Miami's already eliminated, but who's going to win this week? I think we're all going to have a consensus.
I say Miami. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, shut up.
Good one.
Said no one.
Said no one, yeah.
Should I pick my bias here?
I mean, if you want to take an L, sure.
To be honest, I can go first in this one, though.
Sure.
Miami, of course. But in all honesty, Jarvis Landry, I think, will be going off this week. Playing against, it's a good matchup to be playing against the Patriots, who have given up the third most fantasy points to receivers.
Yeah, but if you look at as of late, they have.
I'd rather have Kenny Stills.
Yeah, I was going to say Kenny Stills.
I think it's going to be contingent. If Matt Moore's playing,
he is playing.
I'm starting Stills over
Matt
Landry.
Moore is playing 100%.
I'm starting Stills over him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So I'll pick the Patriots, even though I'm a Dolphins fan. But whenever Matt Moore plays, Kenny Stills' production goes up and his targets go up. And he has such big playability. And Matt Moore loves to target him a lot. As when I watch Dolphin games, I always see that. So I'm going to go Kenny Stills.
I'm going to go Kenny Stills too.
Yo, so much love for Miami.
I can go.
No, I think New England's going to win. And if Matt Moore is playing, Kenny Stills. If Jay Cutler's playing,
I think Cutler was ruled out today. I'm pretty sure.
I think he's still questionable.
I think he's still questionable.
I saw the beat writer from the Dolphins rule him out. Let me double check.
If Cutler plays, I'm going with. I'm going to go with Gronkowski.
I have to agree with that, honestly. I think if Moore personally, I think if Moore plays, it's Stills. Actually, no. If Moore plays, it's gonna be Gronkowski. If it's gonna be Cutler, it'll be Jarvis.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Patriots to win the game as well, and I'm actually going to agree with Jones and pick Jarvis Landry. I do agree with what you were saying about Kenny Stills, but I know that Bill Belichick is a massive fan of Jarvis. The Patriots will probably be targeting him in free agency, and I think he'll have a big game.
Oh, don't give me nightmares like that.
In front of his.
No. Oh, jeez. Imagine Cooks with Landry and Edelman.
Stop
and Gronk.
Stop. I'm not going to
Tom Brady.
And Tom Brady, yeah.
Who's the go-to
quarterback. And Gronk. I don't know if I said Gronk, but. Okay,
Man, I can't imagine that. I can't.
Next game of the week, Carolina versus the Jets.
Does anyone want to start?
I'm going with Carolina in this one, and I'm going with Funches.
Oh, that's a good one. I was thinking of Devin Funches, too.
I mean, Greg Olson's going to come back this week, but I don't think Greg Olson's going to have a full snap count. And I still think Funches is coming off a monster game with versus – who did he play?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I think it was the Dolphins.
Yeah, it was. It was Monday Night Football.
Yeah, he absolutely destroyed the Dolphins for like 2 touchdowns and like almost 100 yards or 100-something yards.
Yeah.
I'm going Funches.
Sorry, what was the matchup again?
Carolina and New York.
So I'm going to go Carolina as well, but my performer of this game is going to be Robbie Anderson, who has been a huge breakout player for the Jets this year.
Yeah, he has.
I'm going to go with Carolina as well in this one, and Christian McCaffrey, my boy.
Oh, I forgot about McCaffrey.
I think he'll have the week. Despite the Jets actually being a good run defense, McCaffrey is the guy who gets the ball in his hands, so I don't think
Like
running.
McCaffrey's more of a
He's
wideout
also
than he is a running back.
Exactly.
in the slot.
He
And
just does
on
everything.
special
So I
teams.
feel like the Jets won't be able to stop that type of play.
But I also think they're gonna go up really early, like the Panthers. 'Cause I think McCown's in for a brutal game. So I think they're gonna run more. I could see a Jonathan Stewart good game here too.
Is Matt
I mean,
Forte back this week?
I think he's out a few weeks.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
still questionable, so there's nothing.
I think
official.
I was reading something about him. I think he was ruled out for a few weeks.
Okay.
It's like I think he's definitely not coming back this week. But
Yeah, I might
he's
go
still
double
check
questionable,
that
so I
quickly.
can't- I checked earlier today. He's supposed to be
Yeah,
out, but
he didn't practice.
All right, next game.
Yeah.
All right, Chicago, Philadelphia. I think we're all gonna have a round sweep here.
Wait, did
Philadelphia.
JC give his prediction for the last game?
I'd go McCaffrey and the
Oh,
Panthers.
sweet.
Okay. That's a
Okay,
quickie.
Chicago, Philly,
Philly. Easy.
Philly. Yeah, Philly.
Philly.
And I think the
Exactly.
number one player this week, I'm gonna go JJ.
Oh, that's what I was gonna go with too.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have his final. He's gonna get in the end zone this week. Well, he did it with the Broncos, but he'll be more of a featured back.
Yeah, gotta get
And
the
he
J
is-
train going.
Yeah, in a game they're gonna
Yeah.
knock, it's gonna be Jay.
Actually, I take back my pick. I think I agree with the JJ. It's has to be. This is the week.
The train is gonna get going this week.
I'm
Yeah,
actually
I-
going with Jordan Howard.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I know it's a
Yeah.
pretty. I know
No,
it's a
Howard's a good player. Howard's third in the league in rushing yards.
I mean, yesterday he said he wants to be a Hall of Famer. I believe him. I mean, the guy, the guy's had a pretty impressive start to his career, and I think he's gonna continue his recent run of success this weekend.
He's had sort of a quiet year, honestly.
840 yards.
Yeah, it's a quiet 840.
He's
Like you
putting-
never hear anything about him.
You never hear anything about him, but he's third in the league in rushing.
840 yards. I won't lie.
He's like the running back version of Adam Thielen. And Adam Thielen's
He
killing
is.
it.
He is.
They're
Alright,
both
next
so
game,
under
boys.
the radar.
You know, I want to make my quick prediction for who I think is gonna have their week. I think it'll be for me, Alshon Jeffrey, also having a very quiet season, but he's been killing it. I don't know. I think this is the week.
He's been pretty solid lately.
I swear you picked the Jai like 3 minutes ago.
I've changed. I started off with. I've been bandwagoning pretty hard. I went from Zachar. It's to.
The Jai
and
to
then I
Jeffrey.
checked and then I realized the matchup's not wood.
Why don't you just pick the whole offense?
Honestly, Nelson Aguilar is looking very nice.
Okay, boys, next one. Seattle, San Fran.
Seattle.
I'm
San
going
Fran.
Seattle here, and I'm gonna go Jimmy Graham.
San
I think
Fran
he's a lock to get in the end zone this week.
I just heard he's questionable for the game.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. He'll probably play.
Probably.
I mean, okay, if he doesn't play, I mean, he's not on my injured. He's on the injured list on my app. But if he doesn't play, I'm gonna go with probably. I'm gonna go sleepy time and go Tyler Lockett. That's
Interesting.
my pick.
Yeah, I'd probably go the Seahawks and Jimmy Graham as well, honestly.
I'm gonna go with San Fran on this one. A bit of an upset.
Bold.
And I think,
Bruh, who's
despite the
man, eh?
matchup not being the greatest, Carlos
man?
Hyde, I think, is going to have the game.
Hmm.
Every year, everyone sleeps on him every year.
I do disagree with Jonesy's pick for the game, but I will agree with his player of the week. I'm going to go with Carlos Hyde. I think he's ready to get into the end zone.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's been getting into the end zone, but yeah. Oh, this is my favorite game of the week. New Orleans versus the Rams.
Oh, I already know who you're gonna say as your
Kamara.
player. 100%.
Yeah, it's Alvin Kamara. No question about it. That was the waiver pickup of the year. He's a top 5 running back in fantasy football. And I'm gonna go with the Saints on this one too.
And you
Kamara's not
outbid
over.
me by a few dollars.
Best $3
Great.
I ever spent.
Okay, so I say the Rams win this one. But I think the player of the game will be Humanawa Nui, however you say his name.
Michael
You can't even pronounce his name, bro. Whose
Humanoanui
name?
or something like
Yeah,
that.
okay, let's say time out. Let's see you pronounce his name.
Humana Ubi?
Oh shit.
Humana
Anyways, my
Ubi.
actual player of the game, if I'm picking the Rams, I gotta pick a Rams player, especially considering they have an unbelievable player in Todd Gurley.
Do you think they're not gonna have Robert Woods this week? You think that's gonna
Yeah,
downgrade
I
it
was
at
gonna
all?
say I think the Saints are gonna win, but I'm going Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Cup?
Yeah,
Sammy
he's
Watkins
been
too.
really good in the slot, and Sammy
Nah,
hasn't really
Sammy
done
Watkins is
anything this year.
garbage. Cooper Cup's better.
And Robert Woods is out, so I think and Goff has been targeting Kupp a lot recently.
Respectable.
I'm going to go with the Saints to win the game, and I'm going to go with a pretty conventional pick, Mark Ingram.
Oh, he's been so hot recently.
Oh,
Yeah.
him and Kamara, literally, they're unreal.
I have a buddy
Crazy
who has
duo.
him, and I know he's been raving about him every weekend. So I'm going to go off his evaluation and pick Mark Ingram.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, next game. Okay, Jacksonville versus Arizona. I'm going to go Jacksonville here. And I'm going to go with a sleeper. I'm going to go D.D. Westbrook. Yep.
Jacksonville,
reasons to talk about
Arizona.
it.
I'd say I'm gonna pick Saxonville as well.
I don't think Justin Bethel
Yeah,
He's
that's
gonna-
true.
to be able to like cover at all DD. He's a
I
good player.
think for my performer of the game, though, I'm gonna keep with Larry
Or for-
Fitzgerald. He's just Mr. Reliable.
First Jacksonville.
Yeah, he'll still be the number one guy in the offense. So
I think Ricky.
even though
Seals
Jalen
Jones-
Ramsey could be,
What are you talking about? Ricky Seals Jones.
oh my
No,
god.
you ruined my pick. Come on.
Go ahead.
But
Go
my
ahead.
thesis, I think the Cardinals win this game, and I do think Seals. I gotta put my money where my mouth is. So I'm gonna go on record to say Seals Jones will have the game. I'm
Okay,
benching
cool.
Larry Fitzgerald this week, so that just shows that I'm not too confident in him this week.
Jones, quote unquote George Hennon right now. Ricky Seals Jones will be on the waiver wire after next week.
It's very
Lord,
possible.
I
If
Quote
he
quote
has a
me.
good week, he's
Quote of
gone.
the year, George Hennon.
Oh
George
my.
Hennon, quote of the year. Ricky Seals Jones will be on the waiver wire.
Yo, the guy has the same name as me. I gotta go with him.
Okay. He'll have 0 points. Watch, he'll get 0 points this week.
I'm going to go with.
What do I lose if he gets 0 points? Nothing.
He'll be a Nate Peterman at tight end. He'll get negative 7 points.
No, he's already had more points in his career than Nate Peterman.
Honestly,
Actually,
I
no.
have
That
more points in
game
my
more
career
points
than
than
Nate Peterman.
Shit.
Jones, I have more points than Nate Peterman does.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. He has negative 7. I have 0.
Oh, Nate Peterman. Yes, correct. I thought it's Jones. My apologies.
Oh, no. No, obviously not.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville to win the game, and I'm also going to go with D.D. Westbrook. Guy's just an unbelievable talent.
Nice. I find it interesting that we got 2 votes on Westbrook and 0 on Fournette.
I just want to say something. Nathan Peterman has 0.2 points, so you don't have.
Oh,
Wow,
exposed.
he had negative 7 last week.
He has 7 the week before and -6 this last
Oh, that sucks.
week.
Oh,
sorry
geez.
to kill the
You know
mood,
what?
but
For Nate Peterman would be a fair trade. Okay, Denver versus Oakland. Is our next matchup. I think Denver's gonna pull up the upset in this one. And I think the number one player in this matchup, it's gonna be a Bronco. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with a deep sleeper in this one. I'm gonna go with AJ Derby.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the deep sleeper on this one.
I'm going to go with Oakland on this one, and I'm also going to have to say this is Crabtree's week. I know
Crabtree
typically
versus
Broncos are good.
Chris Anderson? what's his name? CJ, whatever his name is. Really? He's playing in top corner in the league. I don't know.
Yeah. It's all good.
Okay.
Michael Crabtree.
I'm
I
gonna
think Cordell Patterson will be the highest scoring receiver on the Raiders this week. Or Torrey Holton.
Jeez.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't trust him or Cooper this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the Raiders as well. I'm really not. I was gonna. If we had quarterbacks, I would have picked Paxton Lynch.
Over
But
Carr. Well, actually, yeah. Okay, possibly.
yeah, I'm not really sure who I'd pick as a performer of the week, though. I guess you'll have to get back to me.
Yeah, there's not really anyone enticing in this matchup. Maybe
Yeah,
Demarius
I don't
Thomas, good
know.
matchup.
Maybe I'll just say
I actually
Demarius Thomas.
I think Sanders isn't a. I think I'd rather have Sanders. I think
I
Sanders
was
is
gonna say
better.
Sanders as well. That's what I was
I
gonna.
think I'd
Like
rather
I
have
was
Sanders
thinking of
as
Emmanuel Sanders, but I was pretty hesitant. So
I'd rather have
I'm really
Sanders.
not sure.
I think I'd rather have Sanders than Thomas,
Agreed.
but I think AJ Derby's a better bet to find the end zone this week.
All right, so let's
Okay.
go with Emmanuel Sanders for
Okay,
mine.
this week it's gonna be Green Bay versus Pittsburgh, and we're gonna have an excuse here. You can choose Brett Hundley as a YRT here too.
I don't think anyone's gonna be doing that.
Yeah, they're gonna trade him too.
Hey.
Okay. Okay, my top performer of the week is gonna be Le'Veon Bell.
Okay.
Tough to decide. Antonio Brown has 1,000 yards through 11 weeks, 11 game, like played 11 times. It's like almost 100 yards a game. But I'm gonna go with Le'Veon Bell. I think they're gonna go up early and they're gonna go up fast, and it's gonna be a running game.
I'm gonna go Steelers as well, but I'm gonna go with my man Juju
Let's
Smith-Schuster.
go.
What?
Same. I
Bro, you're
agree.
tripping.
I love this
Juju.
guy.
You have Juju's. Son of a
He
gun.
brings so much energy to this team, and he's a really good complementary option outside
You
of
gotta love it.
Antonio Brown. So I'm gonna go Juju.
I'm going to go with the Steelers to win the game, and I'm going to go with Antonio Brown as my top player.
I think
This is
this
booming.
was the first game that we all had different players. I think.
No, I haven't went yet.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna I have to ruin it because you guys chose the top three, played not like top three players on the Steelers.
Yeah.
I have to go with Antonio Brown. As much as I would love to say Juju's kind of dealing with the hamstring issue right now. He didn't practice today.
It's okay.
Plus
He'll get on
Antonio
his
Brown's
he'll get on
coming
his
off,
bike and
like-
fix it up.
Hamstrings
no,
are something to watch
I
for.
hope he has a
because-
great game, but I think Antonio Brown is just after last game. How can you not go off against the Packers, who have given up the 7th most fantasy points to receivers? Like, can't
And
not.
for a very interesting Monday night quarterback duel, Tom Savage versus Joe Flacco.
Oh my god.
The quarterback
That's a game I'm not watching.
Oh yeah.
Who's the number one player?
I can go first in this one.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to choose Houston. Actually, no, the Baltimore Ravens will come up big. They'll come up with the win on this one. But the person with the best performance, it's kind of obvious. But my boy DeAndre Hopkins, despite not having a favorable matchup, Hopkins, no matter who his quarterback is, has been playing phenomenal. Phenomenal. Fuck.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Baltimore as well, but I'm gonna go with Mike Wallace. I
Interesting.
think Mike Wallace is gonna get open one time deep, and Flacco's gonna find him. He's a Marquise Goodwin type of sleeper this week.
I would also
Great
look
matchup.
at Lamar Miller as well if anyone has him. No backup.
Baltimore's a great run defense. I probably
No, but
wouldn't-
also a great receiving defense as well. But with Foreman
Yeah, I know.
out, Miller is the only guy. And
But that's why I chose Mike Wallace. Houston's
Receiving
cornerbacks are
defense.
great. Jonathan Joseph, I don't think he's playing.
I'm gonna go
They
with
have the-
I'm gonna
They
go with
haven't
the
been-
Ravens as well. But
Who's your sleeper?
I am going to
Sleeper.
call out Alex Collins, who's I'm pretty sure he still leads the league in yards per attempt. And he had a pretty decent game last week, only 49 yards, but he had 20 attempts for the first time this season, and he found the end zone. So I'll go Alex
Okay.
Collins.
So that was the last of the games.
I'm gonna go.
hey, JC,
I'm gonna go Ravens to win the game, and I'm also gonna go with Mike Wallace.
Interesting.
I'm
Echoing
gonna come off the waiver wire.
So
Flacco pick.
that was all of the games.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so there you have it. We covered all the games. We
Yay.
covered some deep sleepers. So this was the first episode of
Four-man rush.
4-Man Rush.
It's our
You
debut
always gonna make an
episode.
appearance next week.
Debut episode. We hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to comment any recommendations of things we can improve on.
And
And
also,
we're gonna try to do
if
this once a week.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. And
So
also,
wait,
if you are down to check out a blog, go to fourmanrush.wordpress.com, and we might be posting some written articles in the future.
And might be
eh,
posting some rankings.
Yes.
And also, we might create a Twitter or an Instagram account where we can answer different lineup questions that you guys might have, like who you should start versus like different like
Just
this
start,
player
start and
X or
sit.
B. Yeah, starters to different
even
players
trade
that you
questions,
have.
honestly, those are fun to look over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those two.
Any drop questions, any maneuver moves that you're trying to make, feel free to contact
Also,
us. We'll make
wait,
it for we'll make it for next week. We'll make the announcement.
see you guys later.
Easy.
See ya.